Well, good evening, good evening. God bless you. How are you? Welcome to Gretchel Dixon's Let's Chat. You are in for an exciting time. I know I am. I don't know about you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, that's watching live, and those that catch the replay. I have the privilege of introducing to some and presenting to others Tracie Patton. Hey, Tracie, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Yes, I wanted to bring Tracie on for you guys. I like to share people that are a blessing to me, and she's one of many. But I want to thank Tracie for the opportunity to, first of all, she is a woman of God and she heard God, and she has invited me to bring Fatal Distractions to Denver. So I'm very excited. I haven't done Fatal Distractions in a long time, but it's time. So thank you again, Tracie, for hearing the Lord and moving on his instructions. So tell those that are watching, who is Tracie? What do you want us to know about Tracie? Who's Tracie?
Well, thank you again for the invite. It's an honor to be here. I am a wife, mother of two children, a boy and a girl, fur baby mom, and last but not least, a woman of God. So I'm excited for what God is doing. I'm an entrepreneur, pastor, prophetess, uh, stylist, cosmetologist. So I'm just excited, that God is allowing me to have another day at it. So that's who I am.
Yes, and one of the things I found, so many things about Tracie I found interesting, but Tracie is from Nebraska. And when I hear Nebraska, I think of the Cornhuskers. I didn't even know if that's still a team or not. It's been so long. And now you are in the Mile High City, they call it,
Mhm.
in Denver.
Mhm.
So, how did you leave? Well, you went from one cold to another cold. So, what caused you to transition instead of, hey, moving someplace warm? Or so, how did you transition? What caused you to transition from Nebraska to Colorado?
Well, I will first say that God has a sense of humor. That's how. Honestly, the Cornhuskers is still present. Yes, there's still Cornhuskers after that. But what from Omaha, Nebraska to we moved from Omaha to Denver. Now I'm in Aurora. But honestly, more opportunity, you know, for our family, my husband and children. The Lord literally opened the door for us to come. My son was playing basketball here while we were still in Omaha. He played for a Billups team, and he was flying out here to play games during high school. And we were coming out here, and one day the Lord, we were in Aurora, and one day the Lord said to look, like look around, look, and I'm like, okay. And next thing you know, I'm asking my husband, "Do you want to move? Would you move to Colorado?" And he has a few cousins here that he's closer to, and he said he thought about it. He said, "Yeah." And the doors were open, jobs opened up, and we were here. We were here.
Wow. That's amazing because
Long
I
story
got
short.
tickled when you said God has a sense of humor. He does. I tell people, I said, be careful when you tell the Lord to send me. I go. He may send you to Austin, Texas, because that's
Uh-huh.
where we. He literally moved us to Austin, but we had never been to Austin. So I was like, okay, because when I got the call to come to Austin, and I was like, where is Austin, Texas? Because you hear Houston and Dallas, and so it's so important that those of us that are following the Lord, He said He will lead us, and when you say yes, and especially when I've heard oftentimes people say, "Lord, not my will, but Your will be done," and is that really true? Because if the Lord asks
Mhm.
you guys that are watching, to uproot your family, just like Abraham, because that's what he did for us. We literally had never been to Austin, left everything we knew, our family, our friends, our
Mhm.
children. Our children were adults. We were empty nesters. but I was still chasing it. But they said chasing that money, chasing that money. But the Lord had already orchestrated. He knew He was dangling that carrot to get me here because, like I said, our church family who we loved, everything we knew was Arkansas. Never ever wanted to leave there. But and even it goes back to by you being a prophetess, what the Lord says will come to pass. Because I remember I took my husband, really it was for me, to Atlanta for his 50th birthday because I'd always wanted to stop in Atlanta. We used to drive through Atlanta going to Florida for vacation. And I always wanted to stop there. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take him there for his 50th birthday. But it was really for me. So I went there and I remember standing in this huge hotel looking out, and all I could see was the highways. There's so many roads going different directions, and at that time, everybody's moving to Atlanta, hot Atlanta and black Atlanta, all of that. And so I was looking out the window, and I was like, man, this city is too large, to think about, moving. I was in my 40s at the time, and so when I got back home, I had a friend that flowed heavy in the prophetic like you, and I asked her. I said, Carmen, do you see me in Atlanta with Creflo Dollar? She said, no, I see you in Texas. I'm like, no, you don't see me in Texas. And so every time I would be talking to her, just chit chat about any old thing, and she would just randomly say, I still see you in Texas. I said, well, stop saying that because I didn't ask you and I'm not leaving. No, I'm not going. That's not God. And I was trying to get through the glass ceiling that we see often for women, and especially women of color. And the Lord used an employment opportunity that was supposed to be a 2-year training here to get me here because I didn't even unpack. I'm determined, no, we're not going to be in Texas. We just here for 2 years because there was a pastor came to visit us and he said, you're not settled. I said, oh yeah, I'm settled. He said, no, women usually have decor on the walls and all our boxes were in the garage. We took out enough to live, our furniture, because, I'm just passing through. And I thought I was passing through. But now, 24 years later, here we are. We're here. Wow. And so he knows the plans, like he said, he has for us. And so fast forward to now that you're in Aurora, and you have several ministries. So were they birthed in Colorado or were they in the works when you were in Nebraska?
So before I answer that, the sense of humor part, I did leave out. The sense of humor part was I was having a conversation with the Lord one day and I said, I'll move somewhere where it's cold as long as it's pretty. So that was the sense of humor part. I never would have thought it would have been Colorado ever. And then, there's more to that story. However, that part, because it is beautiful here, it does get cold. But the birthing of the ministry did start in Omaha, Nebraska. The birthing of New Life Beginnings Ministry. I was having conferences. He gave me a conference name. And I'm like, okay, Lord, is this going to be, I believe the first name was Encourage Yourself. And then he started giving me the women's names to be a part. So I'm thinking, I'm a business major, I'm thinking, it's going to be a business conference.
Oh, wow.
Because at the time I had my nonprofit, which I still have, called Women's Vision. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be, a business conference. And these women are the people's name he dropped in my spirit to ask, because it's always he drops their name. I've never picked people. He's always given me the names of people specifically, strategically. And I knew them, but I didn't really know their, the ones that the Lord chose, I didn't really know their background. I would say one in particular, I didn't know that she was even in ministry like that. I knew she was a businesswoman, but when she, it was a very tough time for her around that time. But that showed me, okay, this is more. When he gave me the second one, I said, okay, this is not, it's business, but God's business. It wasn't the business type of conference I thought it was going to be. But yes, it did end up birthing in Nebraska, 2015. I believe it was the year, New Life Beginnings Ministry. He gave me the name as well. And he said, take it with you. The specific instruction was to take it with me everywhere I go. And first, I'm a servant. I should have said that anyway, but the Lord knows. But for everyone else, I'm a servant first. Titles come, but I'm a servant first. And so he had me in that evangelistic. I still do that, bringing people together. I love that. That brings me life. I love doing that. And then the other ministries, Women of Distinction, is a women's ministry. It birthed here. Let's see, 2020. Battle Cry for America, I believe that birthed in 2018. And then A Prophet's Call birthed here 2019. It was a conference. My first big conference that I had here was A Prophet's Call, and that was in 2019. And then Young Leaders of America, which is just brand new, which would be last year, 2025. Haven't done much yet, but there's visions coming with that. So I'm excited with what the Lord is doing, and all the help that's He's bringing is all coming from strangers. And so I'm excited for that. I'm getting help from people I've known, but most of it is coming from people that I had not known, in the past. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Like you said, you've been birthing, having babies every year. It seems like just about every year that you're doing that. And it's easy to birth it, kind of like in the natural when we have children, but then we have to nurture it. We have to take care of it. And one of the things the Lord taught me and said to me when my husband and I birthed a church was that it was our baby. And that we couldn't leave it to just anyone. For us, he was saying that as much as we wanted to bring other people on to share the word, but we had to be very careful during the infancy who spoke to the new converts that were a part of the ministry. And so especially, and I had to be mindful that even my natural children were his first. So if he gave me this, he entrusted me to this. So I had to be a good steward over that.
Amen.
And then, I know you're a mom. So for those that are watching, the questions could be, you're in ministry, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mom, and you're a wife. So what is the strategy to work smoothly through those different layers or responsibilities that you have?
Well, making mistakes first, smooth it out. I didn't have it right away, but you have to take care of your home first before you can effectively do anything, for God. And so you have to take care of home. And I did have a season where I neglected family, trying to really make God proud. Even though he was, I wanted to make sure I was putting my time in, and the balance of being an entrepreneur, trying to run a business, things like the things that I wanted. So I would say I'm not there yet. I still have a ways to go, but I believe part of being successful and doing effective kingdom building is to make sure your house is in order. And then also pray for sure, right? Pray to God, seek him about everything, because some assignments is not right now. Even in the prophetic, as a prophetic person, we hear so much and we want to do it right now, but it's not always right now, so we got to make sure that we're doing things in the right timing as well. Because if not, you're taken away from something that is not of God. You may be taken away from family. That's not of God. or taken away from ministry when you shouldn't. That's not of God. So the balance really comes from the Lord, because he's going to make sure everything is in balance and aligned with his word and his will. So if we're putting him first and seeking him about everything we do, all the decisions we make, things will be in line.
Yeah, that's so true, because he said in his word that in all our ways acknowledge him and he'll direct our path. And several of us have been guilty of that. I've had some mentees that have gone down that road. It affected their marriage because they were so busy doing ministry, and know that we are ministry. Ministry is a lifestyle, and ministry starts at home and goes abroad. Because we there have been times when kind of like the Energizer Bunny, got to get it done, got to get it done. But
Yeah.
the Lord knows, and even especially those of you that are watching, they have small children. They your position, your job right now is to pour into them, because the Lord already knows that they're little. They need their nurturing. They need their pour from their parents, not from the people in the street or at the school. And because that's where things can really go haywire, if you will, if you don't devote that time to your children. And so it's so important. And then your spouse, even though you're in ministry and we're in ministry, we still have to. I tell everyone we have to take time with our spouse, spend time, because you before you had kids, you dated, you were a boyfriend or husband before you had children. So it's still very important that you take that time that you spend with that spouse, and then yourself. We hear a lot of posts about self-care is not selfish, all of that. It's so true. What is it that you like to do, and do things for yourself, with yourself, even if it's just some downtime, sitting outside, but because you have to get refueled. It's so true. Even when you think about the coffees and cappuccinos, like they said, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you've got to be able to get refuel and move yourself, take care of yourself. And so it's not really a juggling act, but you ask the Lord, how do I manage things well? And it's okay, like you said, if there's some things that fall through the cracks, because we don't get it right, but we have the opportunity to start again, to try again. I knew someone that said that you didn't make a mistake, you just realized what didn't work. So let's try something different and learn how to pivot. We have to know how to pivot with our kids, just in everything. Life is a pivot, knowing how to move. Because even when you think about, if you're driving on the highway and you think you're going one direction, but if there's an accident or bad traffic or something, your GPS will reroute you. So it's the same thing before we had the GPS. We just have to know how to pivot, whether it's in business, whether it's in ministry, or even in parenting. Because like you said, you have two children, and I know you probably have experienced, like I have two sons, that there were times when I remember they both had games, two different types. One was playing baseball and one was in the basketball tournament in the spring. And my husband has to work. So what do I do when I have two activities, 30 minutes apart, and an hour between each one? How do I pick, what do I do, since each one needed to be in a destination? And I did not have a village in the city where I live, like family members or someone that could step up and take one. I had to figure it out. And so that's how it is, even in ministry and life, just life. For those who are watching, is that to learn how to pivot. And if you don't know how, the Lord said, ask, and he will show. And fast forward, now that you're in Colorado, you and I met over an organization and planning an event for their organization. So I felt a connection, and you said the same thing. And I didn't know what that connection was. And I'm okay. And it's okay when you guys meet someone, something is there, whether it's a guy or a male female relationship, whatever it is, don't rush it, because if it's of God, it's gonna manifest, and his timing is perfect timing. So that's when the Lord used you to reach out to me about fatal distractions. Some of you that are watching, you remember fatal distractions. I was traveling different cities. People were asking, but the Lord was sending me to different cities to talk about fatal distractions. I know the name may sound crazy to some, but what it is based on the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy, but the Lord cometh that you can have life and life more abundantly. There are different things that have happened in our life, and nothing surprised the Lord that was meant to take us out, that was meant to kill us, was meant to not allow us to get to where we are now with a relationship with Christ. But God said no. So in that conference, speakers have shared some call it testimonies, but they shared their BC, before Christ. They shared before Christ and then who they are now, because free people, and the premises to share. If you have been delivered and saved and set free, then you want to free someone else. And you share that by your testimony, by your love, just by different things. And you are not ashamed, because when you still are ashamed, that means you're not delivered. Because if you are not ashamed, you don't mind sharing people, this is where I was, to let people know that you hadn't always had a halo and wings all your life. You know, that I was a hot mess. And I remember my mother-in-law used to call it, I was what you said, something about a rich undone, whatever that meant, but pretty much a hot mess in my interpretation. So what was it? Share with us and what happened. How did we get to this point that the Lord had you to reach out to me about bringing fatal distractions to Denver?
Okay. I pray about every, at first I didn't always pray about relationships, but you learn and you grow into that. And so I learned and grew into asking the Lord, why is this person, or what is it about this person, or praying that you're okay to even connect with, because I've been through a lot.
We all have, yeah.
And so I say, pray, see God about me too. We see God about each other. And so we were having a conversation, and I said, it's something, I don't know what it is yet, but the Lord, he'll let me know, and I'm gonna pray about it. And I'll let you know what he comes back and say. I can't remember the exact conversation, but I just prayed about it, and I didn't seek him every day about it. I just prayed once. I said, Lord, if there's something that I need, to do, let me know. Whatever it is with Apostle, Apostle Gretchel, is it something, if she's coming here, what is it? If I'm going there, what is it? That kind of conversation with the Lord. And later he ended up dropping in my spirit. He was showing me fatal distractions. Me not knowing you hadn't really done fatal. I mean, you might have mentioned it, but it wasn't based on that. You mentioned later when I told you it's fatal distractions that you should come here for that. And you do Back to the Altar, I believe it's called, right? And you said, are you sure it's not that? And I'm like, no. I knew what the Lord said, and he said it again. It was in because I was honestly, if I could be transparent, I'm like, maybe it is, is it back to distract? We could do back to the altar, excuse me. But the Lord said, no, it's fatal distractions. When I can hear him, and I know, thank God I can, right? But I know he kept telling me, no, it's fatal distractions. And so I know when it's him. So that's what I share with you. And I said, yeah. And so we were, honestly, trying to figure out when or whatever. And so I'm excited for June, for you to bring fatal distractions back to the forefront here in Colorado.
Yes. And it's so amazing. Because that's one thing about, I won't say about you, but I know about me, it's like, okay, now I'm done with that. Because, those of you that have not hosted an event, you may go and attend, it looks all glamorous, you receive from the Lord, it's great. But on the back end, those of us that he's called to do it, oh my goodness, there have been times that it was intense warfare, meaning crazy stuff. For me, material things, not so much, but for me, because I love people and I'm a people person, and for me, I want to be a person of integrity and not to be misunderstood. And misunderstanding is probably part of life anyway. But that's just who I am. And so just some of the things that have happened, and just the pushback after people have got set free. You may have some pushback, some things that happen on the front end, but for me, it was after people were set free, after people were delivered. You know,
Mhm.
I had crazy stuff happen. I remember hosted a Fatal Distractions here in Austin. It's probably the largest attended conference that I've had, and on our way to the conference center, our garage door broke. As we raised it to back out, the
Wow.
whole thing broke. But I didn't panic. I just said, okay. We stopped and looked at it. Thankfully, it didn't fall on the car as we were backing out. But we went on to the conference. I said, okay, no, we got
Mhm.
to go on. And then I called the guy. Thank goodness for cell phones now. I
Yeah.
called the garage guy, and he happened to be in town. And he said he would come back when he finished doing something. He was barbecuing or something. He would come by and check it. So I went on to the conference and gave him my husband's number to call him.
Mhm.
He came to the house, fixed the garage door. My husband left the conference, came home, paid me, and went back to the conference. So,
Uh-huh.
so those are the things that will happen. And when things happen, whether it's sickness, illness, I've had one friend the last few times when she was scheduled to be a speaker, she ended up in the ER the night before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so different things you recognize. After a while, you
Mhm.
recognize,
You do.
but my question to those of you that are watching, do you have that tenacity like a football player? I thank God for our
Mhm.
former pastor. He's an apostle who now transitioned to be with the Lord. Is that he told us not to get our personal battles mixed up with our assignment from God, and he said you could cry in a secret closet. He said, but when it's time to do God's business, you come out with a smile, with whatever it is. And
Mhm.
so that always stuck with us, that regardless, because he gave the example, when someone's playing football, they can hurt an ankle or arm or whatever. They may limp to the sidelines and they tape them up or give them some medicine. And then they go back out there and do their job. They do what they have to do. And
Mhm.
so that's how it's been for me and for my husband as well. Even he and I both have the same idea when it comes to doing the things of the Lord. Because I was sharing with someone that my husband's mother transitioned 7 hours away. He wasn't able to be there when she transitioned, but his siblings were there because we were here building a home. But I remember when, after the celebration of life was, they did the repast first at the church, and then we went to the committal. After the committal, my husband didn't get to hang out with his family and siblings. He said he had to go. We had to drive back to Austin because we just planted a ministry. They're closing the door was an option. Counseling wasn't an option because you never know whose life is depending on that, what soul is going to walk through the door. And we didn't have anyone
Mhm.
at the time that could fill in. So he said goodbye to his family, and we got on the road to drive back because he had be in the pulpit on Sunday morning. So
Mhm.
that's just all part of it, and I'm
Mhm.
very looking forward to coming to Denver. Don't know, but God does have a word, and everything is ordered by Him. Footsteps are ordered by Him. That I come, and those that may come that will be on the platform as well.
Mhm.
So what's the date? And it's a free event. It's a
Mhm.
free event.
Mhm.
And where and what time are we gonna be in Denver?
So, I would like to say this first too. I'm thankful for the connection with Bishop Dion Hill and me hearing from the Lord to connect with him spiritually, and him being covering of the ministries. And that's how I met you. So I'm
Mhm.
thankful for that connection. I'm thankful that Reverend Pastor Brenda Hector of Jordan AME Church is where the location is going to be to host the conference at her church, 2900 Milwaukee Street, Denver, Colorado. So it's 2900 Milwaukee Street, Denver, Colorado. And it will be June 27th, Saturday, June 27th, save the date, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so Again, Saturday, June 27th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 2900 Milwaukee Street here in Denver. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it as well. We do know that we, talked about it last night. I had a teaching on warfare. We had teaching on warfare. So we know that comes with it, it comes with the assignment. But thankfully, we're both in a place where we can recognize it. So we just ask those that are watching to keep covering us, cover those that are coming, cover those that are got their hands attached, connected to helping. Just keep up in your prayers. But yeah, I'm excited for what Fatal Distraction is going to bring. I know deliverance and healing is going to be a part of it. So the enemy, he already mad about that. So it's okay. We have those that are working for the Lord that's going to be covering us as well. So I'm excited.
Yes, it is. Yes. So I'm very excited. So those of you that are watching, I'd like for you to meet me in Denver. Trying to tell how long we're going to stay in different ones. Some people are talking about driving 16 hours. So no, this second, that's not me. I'm going to fly. But just expecting God is just moving, and it's amazing. It's Denver, so who knows what city is next, because that's what the vision was a few years ago. It was the last time that we did Fatal Distraction was right before COVID. It was 2019, so it's been a minute. So now it's time to do the quantum leap and be like Noah. Be like Luke. Be like who's that to swap by the whale? Jonah. No, we got to do like Jonah. That now we got to make that journey and see what's next. What's next? Yes.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I just know, just even announcing it today, it's just something with it. If you are able to come, it's God is getting the glory, not me, not so he's getting the glory. And so there is some part of your life, I know we all have an area in our life where we could use healing or deliverance and or both. So if that's you, press your way. Press your way to come. It'd be pretty good weather around that time as well for traveling. It's pretty nice and hot here around that time too. So yeah, I think driving would be fine as well. We just pray, keep everybody in prayer for traveling grace and mercy.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, because and it's free. It's free.
That's what I say. It's free. And thankfully it's free. Love offering whenever you come. But we do have a room block for those that do want to travel. We got a Drury Inn. I don't have the exact address.
It's called Central Park. Drury Inn in Central Park.
Drury Inn. Drury is Drury. Drury Inn. But it's Central Park. It's basically off of Central Park Street in Denver, Colorado. So yeah, I'm excited.
We're excited. Yeah, and you can look on my Facebook page under Gretchel Dixon or Tracie Patton. You'll see the flyer. We've been sharing it, and just wanted to come on and let everyone meet Tracie though. So what is before we get off? I know you have some lives and some talk shows as well. So what are the things that you're doing as well, and how can people connect with you?
Thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm on Facebook as under Tracie Patton. You can find me there. I'm on Instagram, Tracie Patton 1. Snapchat, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of with Snapchat. I'm still under Tracie Patton. Everything's Tracie Patton. TikTok, I'm Tracie Patton. And I've been going live on TikTok a little bit more. I'm unfortunately blocked from Facebook Live for some reason for now. But you can find me on my YouTube channel. It's called Let's Talk with Tea, as in the tea you drink, TEA. Let's Talk with Tea. And that's where I stream my live. That's where I'm streaming. So it's a free subscription if you like to click, subscribe and follow. But I'm posting things on there, so you can go back and watch some things that I've been uploading.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Tracie, for coming on tonight. And those of you that watch live and just catch the replay, follow Tracie. Tune into her. It was really good last night. I watched watched her last night, but yeah, she's moving. She's someone to watch as well that God is using in a mighty way. So just want to say good night to everyone. Thank you again, Tracie. Have a good
Thank
evening, everyone.
you. Have a good night.
Good night. You too. Bye bye.